Matchday 10 in La Liga. EA Sports brought us the game between Girona and Real Sociedad at Montilivi. Both sides were coming into this game off the back of going undefeated in their previous 3 games before the most recent international break. For Girona, this was also a special game because Girona have never beaten Real Sociedad in the top flight in the club's history. And they were looking to put that right on home soil. And in fact, they had the first clear chance of the game, did Real Sociedad, and it was Ori Oskarsson, Real Sociedad's number 9, who managed to get on the end of a good ball in from the left-hand side from Sergio Gomez, but the Iceland international was only able to put the shot wide of the goal at the first time of asking. Arnaud Danjuma was a constant threat at the other end down the left-hand side, and here he almost picked out his Dutch compatriot Donny van de Beek, who'd made the run into the box, but the Villarreal loanee had just got too much on the pass. Chance ultimately dealt with by the Real Sociedad backline. Real Sociedad, who were coming into this game off the back of a 1-1 draw at home against Atletico de Madrid in their last game before the break. Danjuma again showed off his brilliant individual skill, cutting in from the left-hand side, which would lead to yet another corner. How about that for skill, putting the ball through the legs of Igor Zubeldia. Quite a few people and players watching on in the stands. Girona with a massive injury list coming into this game. John Toshak was also in the stands, as we could see earlier on. Real Madrid manager, amongst other clubs. Miguel Gutierrez would have the next chance. That just went wide of the goal. Jordi Cruyff was also watching on, the former Barcelona sporting director and son of the Johan Cruyff. Real Sociedad, though, slowly grew into the matchup after Girona were really dominant in terms of possession in the first half an hour or so. Mikel Oyarzabal hitting this one on the volley, first time of asking, but just putting it wide of the goal. He then had another chance, and this time forced Gazzaniga into a save. A good header from a corner, down low, but ultimately it did seem like a fairly simple save for Paulo Gazzaniga to make. Just jumping above Ivan Martin. Gazzaniga ultimately making fairly easy work of it. Ori Oskarsson would then have another chance to break the deadlock. But he just put the shot wide of the goal following this tussle with Ladislav Krejci. Arnau Martinez would argue that he was fouled earlier on in the build-up to that chance, and he was therefore shown the first yellow card of the game for arguing with the referee on the day, Cesar Sotogrado. But we see here Oskarsson using his pace very nicely, but Krejci, also a very fast defender, doing just enough to get there and put off the 20-year-old striker, who, as we say, would just put the shot wide of the back post. Bit of shirt pulling as well there. Game at this point was still 0-0. And here Remiro was forced into urgently parry away his cross from Danjuma. Again, as we say, always looking a threat down the left-hand side. David Lopez then trying to go for the spectacular from a corner kick. Girona had had more than 6 corners by that point, but hadn't really done well with most of them. That was the best in the first period. Not a bad turn from Diego Lopez, but ultimately not hitting the target. Mikel Oyarzabal would try to score yet again, but this time it was a fairly tame effort straight into the hands of Gazzaniga. But he would put that right minutes later. In fact, in the final minute of the half, Barrenechea would pick out a beautiful cross, and it was met by the Real Sociedad captain Mikel Oyarzabal. His first goal of this season in La Liga EA Sports. A fine header to get the better of the Girona shot stopper. Ander Barrenechea starting this game ahead of Take Kubo. And did really well to read the situation. Just see the gap there between Ivan Martin and Alejandro Frances. And he was there to find Oyarzabal, who'd made the run from deep. Ángel Herrera, knowing that he should have followed his man a bit better, as it was really a free header. Images now of the second half, and Brais Mendez had the first effort of the second period, a free kick that went straight on target. Gazzaniga having to parry away for a corner. Gazzaniga, who was called upon on many occasions in Girona's last game here, a 2-1 victory against Athletic Club, but he saved 3 penalties on the day to make sure that his side would pick up the 3 points. Agurd here, though, was left frustrated that he wasn't given at least a corner. But Real Sociedad, obviously with the 1-0 lead, contrary to the first half, really did control the game in the second half. Barrenechea using his space well down the left-hand side, almost finding Oskarsson. Kresci almost caught out there, almost even giving away a penalty, but his arm was close to his body and therefore nothing would come of it. Bojan Miovski would be replaced by Cristian Stuani with about half an hour left to play. Stuani coming on to make his 300th career La Liga appearance. Donny van der Beek would be replaced as well. Gabriel Misihui would come on in his place. For Real Sociedad, Javi Lopez entered the fray for Ander Barrenechea. There was a nervy moment at the back for Paulo Gazzaniga. Luckily for him, Mikel Oyarzabal was not able to capitalise. So there we see something we see on a regular occasion from Gazzaniga. He really can make the saves when they matter, but does have a few moments of madness in his game. Remiro was then forced into parrying a dangerous cross from Danjuma away once again, and there was then a claim for a penalty as Arnau Martinez tried to play the ball back in, claiming the ball had come off the hand of Javi Lopez, but it had actually come off his chest. Therefore, no shout, or no clear shout for a penalty at least. Ori Oskarsson would then make way, and he was replaced by Take Kubo, Japanese international, returning from representing his country during this October international break. This would lead to Mikel Oyarzabal moving to a more central role. Just see there, Brian Gil was watching on from the stands, one of up to 9 first-team players out injured for this game. It was a nice moment as well, due to these injuries, that youngsters were given the opportunity. Alejandro Frances was replaced for Min-Soo Kim, the young South Korean left winger from the Girona Academy, making his La Liga debut. It was at the other end, though, where Mikel Oyarzabal almost came close to causing some trouble, but he was sandwiched in there between David Lopez and Ladislav Kresci. No foul given there on the Real Sociedad captain. Kresci at the other end would then be involved, this time with a header, but a fairly simple one on target for Remiro to deal with. The final 2 changes that Imanol Alguacil decided to make, he only made 4 on the day, not the 5 he was allowed. Torrientes and Becker would come on for Brais Mendez, as well as the goal scorer and eventual MVP of the match, Mikel Oyarzabal. Miguel Gutierrez then played the ball further forward to Danjuma once again. Misihui was very much involved when he came on off the bench, here linking up again with Danjuma. The Villarreal loanee opting to go for glory himself rather than play it across to Cristian Stuani. Remiro was able to save down low. A good save with his foot. Yuma still looking for his first goal of the season for Girona, having already scored this season in LaLiga for Villarreal. Yet another chance just minutes later, but this first-time effort would only go into the stand behind the goal. Real Sociedad were happy to hold on to the result. Obviously, Girona kept on playing crosses into the box. Next up, it was Ángel Herrera, but the Venezuelan international could only head the ball wide of the goal. Not a bad ball in, though, from Gabriel Misihoy. Time was running out for Girona, who were looking at another game without a win in their history against Real Sociedad. There was a nervy moment at the end, though, for Remiro, who landed awkwardly when trying to pick up the ball. It seemed like a fairly serious knee injury. He did need medical attention on the pitch. Fortunately, he was able to continue for the final minutes of the game. This was just before the 90th minute. You can just see there how he landed awkwardly and felt something in his left knee. Just missing out on catching that ball. Not really a foul, however, from Ángel Herrera. Take Kubo, when trying to take the ball away from his own penalty area, managed to go all the way to the other box, but he could only hit the side netting in the final seconds of the matchup. Real Sociedad would end up holding on to the result and picking up 3 valuable points away at Montilivi as Girona lost 1-0 at home to Real Sociedad.